Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you guys a flip through of all of my Christmas journals. These journals I've kept over the last 4 years, which have also been the years of high school for me. So it's super cool to have these different albums that have recorded all of these special seasons in my life. So this is the first journal. I used this in my freshman year of high school, and this was actually the first junk journal that I made and kept for myself. So it's made from an altered vintage book, and I just added a spine, some hand-cut scallop details and paper details, and then this big ribbon closure, and you can also see some tabs sticking out. That's my first one. And then this one I used my sophomore year, and it just has also some tabs sticking out, and it's a soft cover journal compared to the other one, which was a hardcover. It has a couple of beads coming off the spine, and then a peekaboo window cover. And then this is the most recent journal that I used. If you follow me on Instagram or if you've watched some of my previous videos, you would have seen that I filmed a journal with me in this journal. And then I've also posted quite a bit about it on my Instagram. But it's much bigger than the other two journals, and that's because I made it intentionally to be used for 2 years. So I knew that I was going to be heading into my last 2 years of high school, so I wanted to have one journal that I could put both Christmases in. And so that's what I made with this one. I believe it has a 2-inch spine. And then there's some beads and buttons and charms hanging off. And then I hand painted all of these snowflake details. And this is also made from an altered little golden book. So I will give you guys just a kind of quick flip through of these two journals. And then I'll give a more detailed flip of this journal. But yeah, let's get into those flip throughs. So here's the first journal. Let's open it up. I love this big ribbon closure. But it's very different from what I do now. As you can tell, the closure's just been hot glued secure, and I obviously have different techniques that I use for altering and building my own covers at this point, but I still think it's a really sweet journal for what I did at the time, and it's nice to look back on and gain inspiration from even now. So the pages are much simpler than what I do now. I have more blank pages than I do scrapbook paper. I kind of just stuck with writing. I have some photos that I stuck down, but there's definitely less interactive pieces and decorative items than what I do now. I have this little flip out. So there's still elements of things that have stayed consistent throughout my journaling, but it has changed and updated as I've gotten more supplies, as I've practiced more, journaled more. This shows that I've been junk journaling for 4 years now, which is pretty cool to look back on, and it just shows that my style has changed a lot. Yeah, there's just a quick little glimpse at this journal. It's really pretty, and I still feel so inspired looking back at this, and I'm really excited to have this when I get older and be able to recall all of the things that happened in this Christmas. So next we have this journal, and like I said, this is a soft cover, so I was able to fill it up quite a bit and have it kind of round out nicely. And then I just wanted to point out I hand punched each of these holes and added this wax linen thread decorative element around it. I thought that it just added a little bit of detail since it's kind of a simple cover, just adding a little bit more to it. But it's just lined with a scrapbook paper, and then the peekaboo pokes through to another scrapbook pattern. I'll scooch it up so we're in frame. But you can see that over just the year of journaling from the past journal, I started to implement more things that are consistent with what I do now. I had some new supplies that I wanted to use, like stickers and washi tape, so I was able to implement those on the pages. There's some more interactive bits, more photos. This is some black acrylic paint with white pen on it. Just lots. There's just more to each page. I added a lot more decoration, a lot more interaction, more photos. Just kind of crazy to look and see how much my style changed over just a year. And then this is a vintage hanky that I folded over and bound into the journal as a pocket, so you can kind of see how it hangs out with all of the other tabs. And I actually added in those tabs later on. I thought that they gave a nice balance to the linen hanky, made it feel a little more, I I guess, like cohesive, a little more festive. Just added a nice bit of decoration. That's the back. So that's this journal. And then last but not least is this little golden book. So like I said, I've used this for both this year and the year before. So I kind of split it up. Let me see if I can find, yep. So I split it up like literally in half. I did take out one signature that was designated for this year's journaling just because I didn't need the extra pages and I was starting to get already a little bit full with just 1 year's worth of journaling. So I knew that if I added in another year's worth of journaling, it would be really full. So I did take out the one signature, but this is all, I think, 2022 Christmas. Yeah. And then this is all 2023 Christmas. So this year, 2022, we actually went to Hawaii on a family trip. So I have a lot of pictures and ephemera from that. I did a movie page for the animated Grinch, which is one of my absolute favorite movies. Might be controversial. I know some people like the Jim Carrey Grinch more, but I love this Grinch. So don't come at me in the comments. But there's lots of photos at this point. I had my home photo printer, so I use that a lot for recording different events and printing them off and putting them in this journal. I have more stickers, more like stitched in pockets. I had more, I was still like, I'm, you know, at this point learning to use my sewing machine more and putting it into my journaling pages more. But there's a lot of pictures from Hawaii, some fold outs, some pockets, just a lot of different pieces. I didn't go quite as crazy with these pages looking back on them compared to even like last year's journaling page, or not last year. The last journal that I showed you guys, these pages were a little more simple. It was pretty busy, and so I didn't have quite as much time to create super like decorated pages. Here's an example of kind of like a junk page that I did using some of the packaging for my Christmas presents, but they're still really pretty. And then as we get into this year's Christmas journaling, which I just recently finished up, I feel like these pages were probably the most decorated out of any of the journaling spreads that I've done. I have both my Cozy Christmas kit and then my Christmas journaling must-have kits at this time, and so I was able to use those pieces to really bring together these spreads, and you'll see a lot of the pieces throughout these journals. I'll also link them down below if you see them and you'd like to use them in your own journaling. But at each point in this journaling, I kept, you can kind of see I use the same paper at the front of both halves, and then I put a family photo, which I think is really cool to see how we've grown and matured. There's some vintage wrapping paper. This is a piece from my Cozy Christmas kit. I did a Spotify Wrapped page. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen this. I posted a reel about it, but I just printed off a lot of like the slides from my Spotify Wrapped, and then I compiled them all onto this page. There's a big pocket with more in it. But that just was something fun to journal about. I hadn't really thought about doing that before, but I saw somebody else on Instagram, I can't remember who, but somebody else did something kind of similar, and so I thought that it would be really fun to put in my journal. And just more pictures. This is my freebie Advent Wreath printable. I'll have it linked down below if you guys are interested. I know it's obviously post-Christmas at this point, but you know, something for next year if you were interested. But I kept my own Advent wreath in my journal, and then I just used it throughout the weeks, adding a candle for each week. This is a page with like a lot of stickers. I just kind of went crazy with these like clear stickers because I think that they sort of blend into the page. And then entering here, I did a journal with me video about these next couple of spreads. So if you have seen some of my previous videos, these would probably look familiar to you. But I have some candies from St. Nicholas's feast day, pictures of my sister and I going sledding. This is one of kind of those junk pages that I like to do sometimes in my journal. Just have a lot of random things on this spread. Same with this page. And then some more pieces from my Cozy Christmas kit. And then my Christmas journaling must-have kit. This opens up. It's a big, or it's, I guess not big, it's a little fold out. It just has a picture tucked underneath. And then I have some scratch-off lottery tickets. We didn't win anything, but it was still fun to do, so I kept those in my journal. And then just more photos, flip outs, journaling pieces. This page is pretty simple, but it has some stickers. I love the way that this gingerbread man kind of shows on the spread. A tag for my Christmas journaling must-haves kit. This is also from that same kit. Some wrapping paper from a present I got from my dad. A card from my grandma. More pieces. I bound this manila envelope into this journal, so I have another family photo stuck on there. Some tags from different gifts that I gave and received. The sticker doesn't like to stay down, so I have to repress it whenever I open up the book. But more pictures. This envelope is from my Christmas journaling must-haves kit, and I just have an index card with some journaling tucked inside, and then some movie tickets are collaged across this spread. Just some little bit more like junk, I guess you could call it, and then last page is just this card from my grandma. Yeah, that's this year's journal, and I love the way that it turned out. It evened out. Something that is always kind of difficult to achieve with the journal is having it rest when you're finished, like perfectly even, like not splayed out alligator mouth or kind of in like you didn't quite fill it out enough. And I think that this journal just is the perfect thickness, which sounds kind of funny, but hopefully you get what I mean. So those are my Christmas journals from the past 4 years. Thank you so much for watching these little flip throughs of them. If there was a particular journal or a particular page that inspired you guys, I'd really love to know down below in the comments. I feel already so inspired just looking at them, and I know that I have to wait another year until I can do Christmas journaling again. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. Comment down below which journal was your favorite, or if you Christmas journal as well, and if you have any ideas or inspiration for the rest of us. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Thanks, you guys.